Hi everyone! In this video we're going to do a bit of an unboxing and review of a backup generator that I've bought. Essentially because we work and live at home in the countryside, having a power outage, which isn't an uncommon occasion, is a bit of a pain. So I thought I'll bite the bullet and actually buy a backup generator, which I've got here. Now this particular model is a Hyundai 8000 SELR, I think it's called, but rather confusingly, the 8000 isn't any reference to the number of watts that the generator produces. It's just a model number. This is actually a 6 kilowatt machine, so it's about 32 amp maximum. It's rated at a sort of steady 5.5 kilowatt, but maximum 6 kilowatt, which, to be honest, as a backup generator is absolutely fine for us. They do, higher rated models if you need something a little bit more powerful, and also they do. I think they do a 5 kilowatt one as well. So, which I think confusingly is called a 6000, but just check that. On the internet. So without further ado, I'm going to get this machine in my workshop, unbox it, just read the instructions just to see how, what we need to do to get it started, and then just get it going. Right, okay, I've got it in my workshop. I must first add that I'm not going to be running it in my workshop for any length of time because obviously generators, especially diesel and petrol ones, do generate quite a lot of carbon monoxide, especially in a closed space. That can be quite dangerous. So the first thing the instructions say really is make sure that they're run in well-ventilated areas, which is pretty obvious to be honest. But for the purposes of just unboxing it and running it for a few minutes, I'm going to do it undercover in the workshop here. So first things first, let's just see if we can just take the lid off it, if I can do that one-handed. Okay. And let's see what we've got. Right. Nice looking machine. I did cheat a little bit because in order to get it into my workshop, I had to use the pickup arm here, which I can guarantee you is quite strong enough to lift the machine up if you're using tractor forks or a forklift or something like that. So I plonked it down using the hook there. So what do you actually get for your money? Well, you're obviously the generator, and you get a whole bag of goodies in the back here, which I presume will include some plugs. Right, so I've emptied the bag of goodies out, and this is what we've got. So we've got a oil filling funnel, we've got a 230 volt plug, and the smaller 115 volt and the large 115 volt sockets as well. Sorry, plugs. And then we've got two keys. We've got the 12 volt crocodile charging clips there. We've got, now this I'm not too sure, you'll probably know better than I do, but because one's black and one's red, I'm presuming it's something to do with battery cover terminals, but you can tell me, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not quite sure what they are to begin with. If they are battery covered terminals, it begs the question why they're not on the battery. But anyway, they've given you a handy little keyring, which is well worth the money. And that is it. So that's the contents of the bag of goodies that you've got on the side of the machine when you unpack it. Coming to the front of the machine here, you've got three breaker switches here. X1, X2 and X3 just refer to the sockets here on the front, so that's X1, X2 and X3. You've got a switch which converts it from 115 volt to 230, 12 volt charging socket there, emergency stop, a little digital display which tells you the voltage, the hertz, the total number of hours that the machine has done, and also the number of minutes or hours the machine's done since you've just started it. It's got a low pressure alarm and an automatic switch, so that if your power goes out, you can have it set up so that the generator automatically comes on. So I think that ATS is an automatic transfer switch. Obviously the on, off and start switch there, your sockets, just standard sockets there, and also inside the machine you've got a battery already installed. You've also got a engine service kit, which contains the oil filter, O-ring, air filter, diesel filter, and things like that. I've just taken this one out, to be honest, to see exactly what we've got in there. So essentially, you've got the air filter. That looks pretty good. The fuel filter, and also, sorry, that's a fuel filter, isn't it? And that, I guess, is the oil filter and O-ring. That's my guess anyway. That looks like a fuel filter. That's definitely the air filter. And that's what's in the service kit. They do say in the instructions as to exactly when you should change all these things. New engines, they tend to be fairly strict on when you should give it a first oil change. And in this case, it's after the first 20 hours. You should get rid of the oil in there and change it for new. Inside the machine is a fairly standard diesel engine with a few fuses on the front there. You've got, I don't know if you can see it in the dimness of the light here, but you've got stop, run, and a switch to do an emergency stop. So I can press that down and it should flick the switch to the stop position. You've also got the oil plug, which is that orange bit just down there. These machines are shipped with oil in the sump already, so there's no need to go out and buy oil straight away. They are shipped with oil, which surprised me a little bit. I always thought that diesel and petrol engines were shipped dry and you had to put oil in them, but no, Hyundai have put the oil in it before they shipped it, so that's good. So that's about it really with regards to the machine. And so reading the instructions, to start it, you obviously have to check that there's oil in the sump. You have to put all the breaker switches in the off position, which on this machine is downwards. So make sure that they're all down. Make sure that it's turned to 230 volt if that's what you're running the machine as. Close the door. Grab the key out of the bag and put the key into the switch there. Turn it on to the on position, let the little display do its business, and then it is literally just turn, and as soon as the engine starts you can release, it will automatically go to the on position and away it should go. So let's try that. Now, I've moved about 7 meters away from the machine, which is behind me, just in the entrance there. And as you can hear, it's a loud machine. It's not quite as loud as I thought it was going to be honest, but it's still a loud machine. So if that's going to be a concern, then you either have to consider a different machine, or you have to consider perhaps building some sound insulation around the machine, which I've seen other people on YouTube do. I'm not going to necessarily bother to start with, because our neighbours are our closest neighbours are probably about half a mile away. It's not going to bother them, and I have done a test inside the house and you can barely hear it. But if you're going to be in a position where you've got neighbours close at hand, then noise is obviously a concern. The diesel generator is always going to be a little bit louder than I think the petrol equivalents, and it says that it's silenced, but it's only got a little bit of soundproofing inside the white box, so you just have to make a judgment call on that, I think. Right, so at least it works, which is a good thing. It's producing 230 volts, 50 hertz, that kind of thing, so that's absolutely fine. All I need to do now is to get a switch, basically, that I can get the generator feeding the house and all the other circuits that we've got around here if the power goes out. So I'm going to have to get an electrician in to do that, or actually better still, I've got the electricity board coming out to do some cabling to the outside of the house, so I might just cheekily ask them if they can do it. We'll see anyway. That's probably it. I'm quite pleased with it so far. It's not quite as loud as I thought it was. I haven't got a decibel meter or anything like that, so I can't give you an exact noise rating. I'm not quite sure how well that comes across on YouTube sound, as it were. I would say that if you've got neighbours, it's going to be an issue unless you put additional soundproofing around it. But where we are in the countryside, it's not going to be an issue at all for us. So fingers crossed it's okay. The only other thing which I would say, it has got quite a decent fuel tank capacity in this machine. So it should run, I mean, they say that it should run for, quite a number of hours. I'll have a look at the instructions and put on screen the exact number of hours and the fuel tank capacity on screen now. But anyway, it's for our purposes, it's just the right machine. So I'm hoping that it proves to be a reliable machine. If perhaps in 6 months' time I've got some more experience of using it, then I'll post another video. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Hope you found it useful anyway. But until the next video, I'll catch you later. Bye for now.